So I think, the next big shift is here for some people and some time away for others. What we've been talking about in this conference a lot today is effectively technology and Industry 4.0. And I think, there is a great opportunity for companies to connect digital and physical sort of interfaces. And shared services, can go a long way beyond saying this is about wage arbitrage, it's about doing things quickly and cheaply. And they start to become the masters of end-to-end process, end-to-end value chains. And by using technology, they get great data insights, therefore, that can allow them not just to do an operationally excellent job today, but to start to help the business as a whole see where it can improve in the future. So they get lots of data on customers, they get lots of data on process, on vendors, on margins and profitability, and they start to become excellent in interfacing the physical and digital to drive value for their business. So a few things that we've been talking about, and I think there's an inherent risk there, because as you go up this value curve, if you're not careful, it's a larger and larger group of companies fighting for the same resource pool. And what happens is you get, where I've come from in the oil and gas industry, you get like a forecourt war. So everybody outbids the previous company to get the talent. And if you're not careful, that escalates. And eventually people say, right, we can't afford to do business in this footprint. And you will see some companies already, and I come from one that's done it. You'll see certain things start to shift to countries where there's more volume and lower cost sort of footprints. So I think there's an inherent risk there. I think for Malaysia to address that is something it needs to do. There's great talent here. There's a great ecosystem, which is why it's attracted so many companies in the first place. But it needs to have a little bit more joining of the dots. You've got different industries that support each other. Data analytics, blockchain is just starting, GBS, trading, certification bodies. These industries need to make sure they really work together and create a single platform to help each other. We're at an event where I asked people at the start of my talk how many practitioners were here. Not a lot of hands went up, so there were lots of solution providers. But you need to make sure you create that platform that brings the practitioners, the demanders of service together with the providers. And I think if you can do that effectively, then you can start to develop strategies that address the sorts of risks that we talked about. So you can start to say, right, how do we expand the talent pool? How do we bring more people into the space so that when we go up the value curve, we do it in a way that's benefiting the industry and not putting it at risk. Yeah, so a little bit to the previous question, I guess, and certainly I do. I think there are great sources of talent here, and I think the whole ecosystem that's been set up here really helps people grow their sort of knowledge centres, their centres of excellence. So Malaysia offers a lot, but it does need to ensure that it creates the right framework for companies to develop the right strategy to exploit what's there to be had. And if you're not careful, you will get to a situation where people are working against each other in the industry rather than working together. And I think that's certainly the job of MDEC, as we heard, and outsourcing Malaysia. But I think there's also a space where the captives, so we talked about today about 150 companies that are captive organisations. They need to be part of that conversation, for example. So it is important that people come together, that they join the dots, and that they develop a strategy that doesn't just talk about our robots coming for our jobs or what's the latest trend in digitisation, but addresses head on all the elements that you need to be competitive against players that are bigger in terms of size and cheaper in terms of cost.